Hello everybody, my name is Sam Clark. I'm the Chief Vehicle Officer for GridServe, and I'd like to thank Greenfleet and Commercial Greenfleet for inviting me to speak once again at one of their events, albeit virtually this time. And I'm looking forward to spending a few minutes to talk to you about solving the EV challenge with high-powered electric forecourts. Firstly, I think it's important to understand there is a difference and a clear difference between a connector, a device, and a location. The reason why I believe this is important is because on average there are just under 2 connectors per device in the UK and between 1 and 2 devices per location, and I'll come back to why I think this is important shortly. We also need to understand where we sit relative to petrol and diesel. There are over 8,300 petrol stations in the UK. However, the positive is that there are 12,000 locations for electric charging. With the information again from ZapMap also indicates there is a massive increase in the number of charging installations that are happening year on year. So when we look at the map, it is clear to see all of the charging points that are available in the UK. There are so many of them, they quite literally blot out the entire United Kingdom. However, we do need to drill down into this and really understand exactly what it is that we're looking at. First and foremost, when it comes to rapid charging locations, i.e. the charging locations that you are likely to want to use whilst you're on the move, there are just 2,000, not 12,000, but 2,000 rapid charging locations in the UK. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's what is required for today, but is almost certainly not good enough for tomorrow. We know from the statistics that the market share currently sits at 306,000 registered vehicles in the UK that have a plug relative to the 36 million alternative or internal combustion engine vehicles on the road. And what that really means is there's less than 1% of the registered vehicles on the road that are currently electric. The other indicator that we can draw some positives from in the EV world is that whilst internal combustion engine registrations declined over the last few months, not just every month, but year on year, the increase in electric vehicles and the uptake of new registrations is plain to see. So when we address the 2,000 locations and we consider whether that is enough for the current market, then yeah, maybe it is. But is it enough for the future? Almost certainly not. And the rapid charging network already has challenges. These are just a few images I've put together over the last couple of years where I have had challenges with charging. The one on the top left looks reasonable enough, apart from the fact I had to drive down a one-way street to be able to park on it. The one on the top right, I'm parked in a flower bed because of the location of the charge point. And the bottom one, again, because of the location of the charge point, I had to park on the pavement in order to charge. Furthermore, if we look at the actual number of ultra-rapid chargers, i.e. the 100 kilowatts or more speeds that we will all come to expect in the next few years, there are actually only 40 locations, excluding the Tesla network, in the United Kingdom that provide that level of speed currently. Furthermore, the ones that do are already oversubscribed. The couple of images at the top there I took last year when I was trying to charge at Hammersmith Flyover, but the entire network was not only full of taxis, but there were 2 taxis waiting before me in order to charge. Therefore, I had absolutely no chance of charging at that location. And the one below is, I now drive a Tesla, and I went down to Exeter this weekend and indeed was unable to charge at Darts Farm because every single charge point was already occupied by a number of different Tesla cars. The uptake of the Model 3 has already put that infrastructure under strain as well. So we need to find a solution which addresses this in a mass adoption type way. And the way in which we feel we're able to do that is by virtue of an electric forecourt network. This network is important because it is entirely different to anything we've seen before in the UK, mainly because there are so many different charging points available at each location. In this particular example, and this is a real example of Braintree in Essex, which is currently being built as we speak, we have 12 high-powered 350 kilowatts chargers available. Furthermore, another 12 high-powered chargers up to 90 kilowatts, which ultimately will be upgradable to 180 kilowatts, as well as 6 Tesla superchargers and 6 AC chargers for those cars like the Renault Zoe, for example, whereby there is already 10,000 of those on the road that don't have a DC charging capability. So we need to make sure that we're also addressing the market that is already out there that doesn't have the ability to charge at these sort of rates. These are the sort of locations which will enable mass uptake, mass adoption, alleviate range and charge anxiety forever. As well as charging, however, it's also important to understand that we are serving the grid as much as taking energy from it. Yes, there is a very large 5 megawatt connection coming from the grid to this location, but we also have 6 megawatt hours of battery capacity on site as well. So we're not just taking from the grid, but we're also going to be able to serve the grid at the same time, as well as acquiring solar farms that enable us to produce a net zero solution for every vehicle that charges at one of these locations. In addition to all of that, there will be a 2-storey building. Within that 2-storey building, we will have your traditional retail concessions downstairs, as well as upstairs, a premium style lounge where we'll be able to wait in comfort, not in the rain, as well as the ability for commercial enterprise to book meeting pods. And we will have electric cars on display so that anybody, whether you're driving an electric vehicle or otherwise, are able to come and understand electric vehicles at this location as well. So in fact, we welcome the 99% of internal combustion engine drivers so that they're able to come and see what it would be like to charge in this sort of environment. But we're not just stopping at one location. We are going to be building over 100 of these locations around the UK over the next 5 years. So we're very, very excited to be able to deliver something for the masses, for EV adoption. And the fundamental reason for doing all of this is really to deliver sustainable energy, move the needle on climate change, and create a charging infrastructure, not just for today, but for the mass adoption of EVs long into the future. Thank you for listening.